4 topics left over, and then you have a horrible worksheet on completing the square. Close your computers. You must absorb the information first, or reabsorb it in this case, since it's a review. I cannot open this now because I'm lotioned. It's a horrible sound. Okay, number 1, abstract equations. So these are the ones where they're like, and they're like, solve for G. Oh, what? I didn't give you any example problems on this, but if you really struggle with these, you can find the example problems in the lesson, which is lesson 40, and review them to make sure that you can get them correct. Now, how do I solve this if I am solving for the G?
You want to get rid of every variable that's not G.
Yes, perhaps G is an individual who has gone to play basketball outside, was wearing like a long coat. They have returned to class and they did not wear deodorant. What happens? They emit an odor. And they're so odorous that nobody else wants to be around them. Even the good Christian fellows, like F right there. They're like, you know what, it's okay, I can deal with it. They're like, they love Jesus, I'll just be around them. Slowly but surely, everyone goes, oh man, I cannot stand you. The smell is too much. And so they all leave and go to the other side. First people to leave are B over C. How do we get rid of the B over C? Multiply by C over B, right? F is trapped. If F could get out of there, man, F is like trapped in there. So we gotta like fire drill status. These guys gotta go first, and we'll move people away, right? The analogy is dying. It's okay. So I'm gonna multiply by C over B. There's a thread. Okay, always multiply that by that first and get rid of it, rather than going the other way, which will not help you because I don't have scissors, really. What's that? All right. Oh, there you go. Otherwise, where's it? If you multiply this out, you're making your life harder. So don't do that. Okay, that's my job, not yours. To make your life more difficult. Okay, so A over C equals D over E minus F over G. G is still exuding that odor. They forgot to use deodorant. So we're going to move D over E away, okay? We're kind of slowly moving these guys away. So I will subtract D over E from both sides. And that leaves me with the following. This whole lotion business is not good. There we go. So I have AC over B minus D over E is negative F over G. Okay, now I'm going to add these fractions. What's the least common denominator, everybody? BC. So this one, is that an E?
Yeah, it's supposed to.
This is missing an E. This is missing the B. There we go. So now I have one fraction bar here and one fraction bar here. Now is the only time when I can flip both sides. You have one fraction bar on one side, one fraction bar on the other side, then you're allowed to flip. Okay, how do I get rid of the negative F? Well, I'm going to multiply both sides by negative F. If you don't like the flipping both sides, you can also cross multiply and then divide. Either way, you'll get the right answer, which is that. Okay. So basically the same steps every single time to solve these. Get rid of this guy first, then move the terms away, flip, and you're good. Questions? Okay, next topic.
Oh.
Wow. That hurt my life. Force.
Is there a nice day?
All right, next. Nested roots. So these are these problems. Stupid. So how do I solve this? First step. Yeah.
Make the square roots into half exponents and put it in parentheses.
Okay, so square root becomes a 1/2 power. Cubed root becomes a
1/3.
1/3. Now what? There's only one person in this whole room who knows how to solve this problem? Oh dear. We'll have problems on the final. 3 people? 4? 5? 6? 7? Okay, we're getting there. All right, so I'm supposed to simplify inside the parentheses first. How do I do that? Well, I need these two numbers to be the same. So how can I write 8 as a power as 2 to a power? It is 2 cubed. Now I can add the powers, and this gets me 2 to the 7/2. Why? Because 3 plus 1/2. Don't give me that look. Don't give me that look. Choose joy. Thank you. This is the same as 6/2 plus 1/2, which is 7/2.
Bless you.
Now, when you have the base here like this, you add the powers because you have 2 to a power times 2 to a power. But when it's in parentheses to a power, you multiply. So this is 2 to the 7/6. And that's your answer. Gross?
No.
You have to remember this part. And then if I throw like different bases here, that's a little tricky. So I would highly encourage you, if you struggle with these problems before, you will probably struggle with them on the final. So do some example problems, make sure you understand them. You have like 20 topics here on the list. You know you have 20 questions on the final. So make sure that you can solve every topic. You'll be fine. If you cannot, the life issues will ensue. By life issue, I mean you freaking out on the test, not doing as well as you want to, right? That's that. Okay, unit multipliers. Ooh. So, how do we convert units? Well, we've done a lot. So, you should know the following unit conversions. Meters to centimeters. How many centimeters in a meter?
100.
1 meter is 100 centimeters. How many meters to millimeters? How many millimeters in a meter? 1,000. How about feet and inches? 12 inches, 1 foot. How about feet and miles?
5,000.
How about centimeters to inches? 2.54. So you should know those as you convert. Okay. Probably kilometers too. There's like 1,000 meters in 1 kilometer. So, suppose I had 5 kilometers, and I want to know how many miles that was. How do I do that? Did you have a question first? You raised your hand.
I didn't know if it was 2.54 centimeters or not.
No, it is. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, on the question too. You wanna use
Oh, I'm not there yet. Question?
No.
No, you just want to tell me the answer. I see.
Well, I thought that was the original question.
Oh, got it. I see, said the blind man, after encountering Jesus, not before. Because he couldn't. And then he was like, rub mud in your face. And then he like did, and then he washed it, and then he said, I see.
It's so funny because it's so bad.
Okay, so how do I do this? Start with the thing you want first. Always over 1. Then you're going to have to make your way from kilometers to miles. How would you do that?
So go through meters.
So we're going to have to go from kilometers to
Meters.
meters to
Centimeters.
centimeters to
Inches.
inches to feet to miles. Ooh, we got some work ahead of us. So how do I go from kilometers? Wait, first of all, how do we get this? Well, I see that I want miles. The only thing I know how to get to miles from is feet. So I can't get from feet to kilometers, right? But if I have kilometers, the only thing I know is to go through meters. So I have meters now. I could go to millimeters, but that doesn't help me. But I do know the conversion to centimeters. I know centimeters to inches. That's like my bridge, right? So if I get to inches, then I can go feet to inches. So that's how I got that. You kind of have to like reason your way through it. Doing okay?
Yeah. What about you?
Sure?
Yeah.
Doing okay. Thank you. Thank you for asking. You guys doing okay? Is everyone just burned out? Like,
Maybe.
okay. All right. So how do I go from kilometers to meters? Well, I use the unit multiplier. The thing I want to get rid of is on top, which means that I put it on the bottom, so they will cancel. I'm going from kilometers to meters. So what is my conversion? Well, 1,000 goes with the meters. 1 goes with kilometers. Then you can sell. That's why kilometers is on the bottom. You must show this step. If you just write the answer with no canceling, you will by no means get full credit. Okay? Even if your answer is correct. I want to see the canceling process. Okay, now we have meters. We must go to centimeters. So if I have meters on top, I want them on the bottom. So they cancel. So 100 centimeters, 1 meter, and I will cancel. Then I'm going to go from centimeters to inches. Which one goes on the bottom?
Centimeters.
Centimeters. Why? Because it must cancel. Okay, inches to feet. Inches goes on the bottom because I need it to cancel. Okay, feet to miles. Miles goes on the top because it's what I want. What goes on the bottom? Feet, because I don't want that. I mean, I like the 2 that I have, but I don't want any additional. Like growing out of my ear or something. Strange. That movie is before your time. Okay, so now collect all of the terms. You've canceled, so you're left with miles. So we're happy campers. 5 times 1,000 times 100 divided by 2.54 divided by 12 divided by 5,280 overall miles. Make sure you put the unit. Do not multiply them out. It is a waste of your time. Okay? You would rather use your time for other things like checking your work, checking your answers, like doodling on the back. But don't multiply them out.
Yeah, all the
okay?
important things.
If you get to this point and it's right, and then you multiply it out and you get it wrong, you're losing points. So if I'm willing to accept it here, you might as well leave it there. Okay. Finally, the last problem and the focus of your worksheet today, completing the perfect square. Okay, this is a skill that's not going away. I suggest learning it now rather than putting it off till pre-calculus and you're like, I can't do it. And then you're crying, and then your parents are crying because your grades are low, and then everyone's crying except me, who said, learn it in Algebra 2. Okay, so some of your worksheet problems are just asking for the first step. So they'll give you something like this and ask what number goes there. How do you figure out what number goes there? You take this number, divide it by 2, and square it. What does that equal?
2 or 4.
4.
Oh yeah, this lesson.
Then they're going to ask you to factor that. What does it factor to? Something squared. X plus what?
4.
2. Because you remember from your a plus b squared identity, you have the a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. Okay, the trick is, whatever this number is inside here goes there. Okay, let's try another one. Okay, what's the number in front of the x?
6.
Incorrect.
Negative 6.
Negative 6.
Negative 6. Yeah.
Then you
Divide by 2.
divide by 2 and square that. Negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3. Squared is 9. So you're going to add 9. Okay? How can I simplify this? This becomes x. What's this number? Minus 3. So it's x minus 3 squared. Okay, so after a few of those problems that get you into the feel of completing the square, you will do the full problem, where you must solve for x. How many x values do we expect in our answer? 2 is the correct answer, because you will take the square root. When you take the square root, you will add a plus minus. So let's try the exact same example here. Is that going to work?
Do this on your calculator?
Oh yeah, I would never do this by hand. That's gross. Okay, let's do it. So, first step, move the number away, because we are going to put our own number there that completes the square. That's why it's called completing the square. Are you done? Okay. The problem's there. It's going to be on your final. So whether or not you like it, or whether or not, there are things in life that you will not enjoy. Okay? They're going to happen. Okay? Life happens. It's how you address, how you walk through that trial is what's important. Okay? Not whether you like it, not whether you're like, woohoo, COVID happened, I'm so excited. Nobody's excited. Nobody's happy about this. Maybe the pharmaceutical company who's making millions of dollars now. Okay? Everyone else, they're like, not happy.
He's pretty happy.
Who?
Elon.
Elon is number
pretty
1
happy
now.
too.
Elon Musk. Yeah, because he can sell Teslas to people who, I think all the car selling industries are happy because they're like, well, bruh,
That's insane.
I don't have to deal with people. They just virtually sell you the car. They don't have to talk to you. You show up, you drive it away, you give them tons of money. It's perfect. Anyways, moving on. So, now, this is moved away. What am I going to add? We already said you add 4. Why? Because the number in front of the x is 4. Divide this by 2, you get 2. Square that, you get 4. So we will add 4 to both sides. Remember, you must add it to both sides, not just to one side. It must balance. Okay? Let me see if you have a nervous twitch somewhere. No. Okay. This simplifies down to something. What does it become? It becomes x plus whatever that number is squared. What is that number? 4 divided by 2 is? 2. Now what? How do you undo a square?
Square root.
Take the square root. Anytime you take a square root, you must have the plus minus there. So this now becomes x plus 2 equals plus or minus square root of 3. Or x equals Negative 2 plus or minus square root of 3. That's your answer. Gross?
Not really. Oh, so you're supposed to put before. That makes so much more sense.
I don't know. The square root always goes second. It looks better. Just do it. Okay?
It makes so much
And
sense.
with that, we have completed all of our review topics for the exam. All of them. Woo-hoo. So, for tomorrow, gentlemen, for tomorrow, you will bring in questions that you have about the exam topics. So choose some where you're like, I don't know how to do this. We will review it. Okay? So, with that said, let us begin our